Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining in this very important update here on price action of Bitcoin. Because if we look at the price structure of Bitcoin here in a bigger scale, market looks like it could be favoring the longs. I mean, after some range bound, we are expecting the price of Bitcoin to continue here to the upside. But if you look at the price structure of Bitcoin in a smaller time frame, we are being flashed a complete different scenario. So that is the reason why I'm calling this a false flag, and this is also what we are going to talk in this video. So before I dive into the content, before I start talking about this interesting scenario, please destroy that like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. Now let's jump into the content. Now if we look at this price action of Bitcoin in a daily time frame using this broadening wedge, we can see very clearly the price of Bitcoin is facing resistance exactly at the upper trend line from this broadening wedge. And in the past price action, we found out once the price managed to break out from this upper trend line from the broadening wedge, what played out after that? A very nice impulsive movement, and even the price objective from this broadening wedge played out perfectly. You can see price came exactly at the price objective from this broadening wedge and started reversing. In our case, this upper trend line is acting as a line of resistance around 31,000 to 32,000 range. But once we flip that into proper support, you can see the price objective from this bigger broadening wedge is sitting somewhere between 35,000 to 36,000 range. So in the medium short term, there might be some shakeout because the price is facing some difficulty to break out from this resistance line. But please do not panic, because I have been saying this, I have been shouting on top of my lungs that between 28,000 to 30,000, we have extremely strong support lining for Bitcoin, and only after breaking below that, we know this was a false move, and price after that is going to show another continuation here to the downside. But please do not get fooled as long as the price of Bitcoin remains between 28,000 to 30,000 range, because we know this line, right, the upper trend line wedge from the broadening wedge, the 0.5.618 Fibonacci line between 30,000 to 32,000 is acting as an additional line of resistance for Bitcoin. But once we flip this 32,000 into support, the next area where we could be getting attracted looks very bullish, and that is sitting around 36,000 and even around 40,000 range. Yes guys, 35,000 to 40,000 will be looked as our upcoming target once we flip this 0.5.618 Fibonacci line into proper support. And if we do see any shakeout right now or for the upcoming days, please do not panic, because we know any sort of a shakeout in the medium short term, even this Williams alligator indicator is going to act as a strong line of support for Bitcoin. You can see in the past price action during an uptrend, any sort of a retracement around this Williams alligator indicator, it definitely pushed the price higher. So in our case, if the price of Bitcoin is going to show some range bound, we are more than happy, because we know around 28,000, 30,000, we have some strong line of support lining for Bitcoin. And after that, we are expecting the price to continue or show a move here in this manner. If we look here to the downside, I mean, if you look at this MACD is forming a bearish crossover, but RSI is still over 50, T3CCI is still in a positive territory. So let us not panic. It is a sign of weakness for the medium short term, but I shared you yesterday very clearly. In the medium short term, there might be some shakeout, there might be some pullback to test the support around the 28,000, 30,000 range, but only after breaking below that, we know we are going to be bearish. But until then, please do not panic, and please do not let this chart fool you. Yes guys, because in a bigger frame, if you look at this descending channel, if you use this crypto on a buy sell indicator, this crypto on a buy sell indicator just flashed a buy signal, which actually has been a very important signal in the past price action, because whenever this indicator has flashed a buy signal, the market after that has done very bullish. So in our case, this indicator flashed a buy signal when the price of Bitcoin was hovering around 24,000, 25,000 range, and now we are hovering on 30,700. So in the medium short term, even if we do see any sort of a shakeout, this rising trend line, this green line, which previously also acted as a strong line of support, you can see is going to be acting as additional line of support around 28,000 to 30,000 range. So you can see guys, even in a bigger scale, we have some strong line of support lining for Bitcoin around that area. And after some range bound, after some pullback, we are expecting the trend to continue this higher highs, higher lows continuation pattern type of formation. And now in a smaller time frame, you can see, yes, there is a possibility of price slowly getting attracted here to the downside, because this is a VCPR. VCPR means the price at the end of the month or until the end of the month has probability to test one of this line. We don't know which one, top, central or the bottom, but the probability is very high that the price at the end of this month or before the end of this month to get attracted or test the support from this line before deciding the trend direction. So that's another reason. Even if we do see any sort of a shakeout, please do not panic, because in that case the price will be coming back to invalidate this VCPR, right, and then slowly start with a new uptrend, because according to this CPR indicator, leading indicator, this errand line is where we could be getting attracted if we can remain above 28 to 29,000 range. And this monthly errand line, or the first target for this month of July, is sitting around 32,950 or 33,000 range. Yes guys, this 33,000 will be looked as our upcoming target if the price of Bitcoin manages to remain above 28 to 30,000 for this month of July. Now, even in a smaller time frame, you can see if we do see any sort of a weakness in the media short term and price gets attracted here to the downside, this lower trend line around 30,000 is going to be acting as additional support, because we know in the past price action, whenever the price of Bitcoin has shown some impulsive move, this upper trend line around 31 to 32,000 is acting as a line of resistance, and to the downside around 29 to 30,000 is acting as a line of support. So we are not worried as long as the 28,000 support remains. And now, even this symmetrical triangle pattern with a fake out, yes, this turned out to be a fake out. Price failed to find support at the previous temporary resistance line, and now we are trying one more time to close this 4-hour candle. So what we want the price of Bitcoin to do, we just want the price of Bitcoin to follow this symmetrical triangle pattern, and this symmetrical triangle pattern will be looked as a bullish continuation pattern if we can remain above 28,000 range. So that's why this actually, after some fake out, could still favor the longs or still favor the bulls with some range bound and then a new impulsive movement. So please do not panic as long as the price of Bitcoin in a bigger scale or even in a smaller scale remains above 28 to 30,000 range. And not just only because of the symmetrical triangle, even if we use this rising channel formation, this rising channel is a very important line of support and resistance in a daily time frame. Lower trend line acted as a support, upper trend line acted as a line of resistance. So in our case, as long as the price of Bitcoin remains above 28,000, 30,000, we are also going to be above this lower trend line, which is a very good sign. I mean, price, even after some shakeout, if it does manage to remain over 30,000, in the medium short term 28,000, this will be still looked as a bullish continuation pattern. I know many will say this is a bear flag, but looking at the overall market structure, right, once we flip the upper trend line resistance into support around 31, 32,000, this could still favor the longs, because in a bigger frame, you can see the price of Bitcoin could be preparing itself for this new impulsive movement. So doesn't matter guys, if the price wants to turn bullish, we have to overcome 31, 32 resistance into support. If the price wants to invalidate the bearish scenario, then we have to remain above 28,000 range. So this is all what I want you guys to keep in mind. Rest should not bother you much. I mean, any sort of a shakeout, as long as price remains between this key line of support, key line of resistance, there is nothing to worry about. So this was some of the quick update that I wanted to share with you in this video. If you enjoyed my work, then please guys, destroy that like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. Now by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye.